The Bengals are hoping to take down the Vikings and stay in the thick of the AFC playoff race. Let's get the latest on Jamar Chase, which was an all-time locker room interview earlier this week, plus thoughts on Jake Browning, the Minnesota Vikings, and much, much more. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join the 40,000 plus subscribers. Also, get your copy of Enter the Jungle today this holiday season. You can get yours at CincinnatiBengalsBook.com on the history of the Cincinnati Bengals. And let's dive in because this Bengals team, they've won 2 straight. The vibes are pretty good. And not just because Jake Browning has led this offense to 68 points in 2 games, not just because they're in the thick of the playoff race, but I think this team genuinely believes that what they're doing is working. And throughout this week, and it's a short week, and short weeks are tough, but whether it was Tuesday when I was at the stadium and Jake Browning talked and I played the water joke and played a clip of Browning for you, or whether it was Wednesday when Jamar Chase literally talked with reporters, then had to do a production meeting with the national TV analysts, and then came back and talked with reporters again. And one, shout out to Jamar for being willing to do that. Two, I think that the confidence is there, but the vibes between the guys is there. And one clip that shows that is Jamar Chase being asked, and it was Olivia Ray from WLWT, asked the biggest difference between Jake Browning and Joe Burrow. And it's interesting because I know she asked Jonah Williams that, and he said, well, Joe's a little flashier. Well, Jamar Chase, to me, had the best answer in the locker room.
What did he say first? Because I think it's a difference. Flashier. Yeah, but I mean, you can't just say that because that's 2 different tax brackets. That's why you can't even say that. Personality wise though, Jake's more playful than Burrow, if I could say that. Jake's gonna smile with you like on a regular. Joe's gonna just walk past you and look at you and then keep going. Like he's just not gonna smile all the time. Joe's just more tunnel vision than Jake. You know what I'm saying? If I could describe the difference, I would say Joe comes to work in a suit and a tie. Jake comes to work in a suit with no tie.
And that's a description only Jamar Chase can make and put together. And I love that. I also think that we don't necessarily get to see that entire side of Jake yet. The Joe Burrow walk by you and give you a head nod or something like that. That is absolutely what he does. That's just his vibe. It makes total sense that Jamar Chase describes him that way. And I do think it's going to be interesting to see how this offense goes over the next 4 weeks. Not just Saturday. I don't want to be stuck in a box of week to week, and things can change really quickly. I don't know how they're going to play against the Vikings, and we'll get to our keys to victory later or on Friday rather. But to me, these next 4 weeks, obviously the playoffs are on the line and all of those things, but how much of this offense is sustainable? I'm not sure we know yet. How good is Chase Brown really? I think we're going to really get our answer here. Is this offense where you're under center more and you're running some bootlegs and you're leaning on play action and you're not going empty? Is it sustainable against really good defenses? I don't know, but I think it's interesting, and I think it could be at least some of it, and we'll start to get to see that on Saturday against the Vikings. And Jamar Chase is a big part of that. He did say that he was the best receiver in the league, and they need him to be. I think during this stretch, as much as any, even though the screen game has worked, the run game, all of those things, this game is one in these next 4 games where you're going to have to probably lean on your horses a bit more. And that first horse is Jamar Chase. There's no doubt about it. So when looking at this offense and the vibes and all of those things, I mean, Chase had 3 receptions last week. It didn't matter. And so I think however they can find ways to win games is what they'll do. Now, figuring out a way to do that against a really good Vikings defense, and then a really good Steelers defense, and then against the Chiefs on the road, and then against the Browns. I think there's a lot there, but the vibes are good, and I think they're fun. That's the biggest thing that I wasn't sure we would see again this year when Joe Burrow went down. I'm not sure any of you or anybody was sure about that. But this team is fun. They're entertaining. They've been good to watch. And so why not think that they can beat the Vikings or beat the Steelers on the road or beat Cleveland in that final week, or on New Year's Eve, go to Kansas City and handle business against the Chiefs. So I think it's a really fun time right now. I think the vibes match that, where they're focused, they're confident, and these guys certainly think they can win. The other aspect and element of this that I want to discuss is this offensive line, because I think this offensive line has done a great, great job. And Brian Callahan on Wednesday was asked about Jake Browning, of course, and he praised Jake Browning, and I wrote about that at allbengals.com. But the other thing, and there's no video, by the way, otherwise we'd probably have a clip for you. The other aspect of it that I asked was the offensive line. And they've played much better. They've certainly been put into better situations. It's tough when you're true pass blocking 45 snaps. It is. It's just hard. And that doesn't mean that they shouldn't do that at times with Joe Burrow. But I don't think that they'll continue to do that or do that much with Jake Browning, because we've seen when they can get under center, and even some of the passes that they are using, these screens, those aren't true pass sets where this offensive line has to essentially pass block, retreat. No. This is downhill aggressiveness. And I think I said this in the postgame video. It's the most excited I've seen in the offensive line after a win over this year and a half stretch. It really is. I mean, they were so excited after that game. And I think if you can continue to win there, if this offensive line can continue to do what it's done, where it's more physical and it's leading to explosive plays, whether it's quick passes, like screen passes, or it's runs, either way, you take either one. If you can do that, it's going to make life easier on Jake Browning. It's going to get this offense into a flow. It's going to keep the defense off the field so they can rest and they're not on the field for 40 minutes a game. And you just feel much better about their chances of handling business. We are going to have our keys to victory ahead of the Vikings game. Of course, we will be at Paycor Stadium on Saturday for the 1 o'clock kick. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, get to rivertowninquiry.com for all of your holiday needs here. And like I said, enter the jungle. Please check it out, Cincinnati Bengals book.com. For Andrew Fox-Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien signing off. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.